We met through a mutual friend. He knew Josh through a different group of friends where Josh grew up in Frankenmuth. I went to school with him, and years after we both graduated and Josh came home from the military, he said, based on how socially awkward both of us are, that we would be a great match, and we were. So.
Two, even if you wait later and you don't do a first look and go through the ceremony, what happens after the ceremony? You're with family. Mm-hmm. You're walking down the aisle, getting pictures with your bridal party. You're doing a grand entrance. You're doing dinner. You're doing toast. You're doing all that stuff. Is there really time that you're spending with them?
Right. Love the idea of when we have kids down the road that we can show them a video of the day. You know, pictures do a lot, but it's nice when we have everything put into a video and can look back and laugh and smile and remember all the little things that photos can't capture.
Hi, welcome back. I am with Areanna. Her wedding was in September. I had the honor of recording her wedding that day. So we're going to talk a little bit about how her wedding went, what kind of steps kind of led up to the whole wedding day. We are recording this at the Back Orchard Barn in Freeland, Michigan. It's behind the Lehman's Apple Barn, and this is where she got married at. So coming back here, it got a little bit of emotional there, didn't it? So
It did. It was very nice to pull up and remember all the great memories from that day.
Oh, good. So how are you?
Good.
And married woman?
I am. It feels very nice to have the stress of wedding planning behind me. I will say that. It was a breath of fresh air the next day after we woke up and no more wedding stress.
I bet it was. So as far as tell me a little bit about, I'm curious as far as, I think I know the answer to this, but I want to find out, our viewers here kind of get a little bit of his background story about it. How did you and Josh meet?
We met through a mutual friend. He knew Josh through a different group of friends where Josh grew up in Frankenmuth. I went to school with him, and years after we both graduated and Josh came home from the military, he said, based on how socially awkward both of us are, that we would be a great match, and we were. So
I caught a little bit of the military thing in one of the speeches that was what was done by the best man. Yes. So, and I think Hawaii that he was stationed at.
So he was in California for the 5 years, but he did go to Okinawa, Japan.
Oh, Japan. That's right. I don't know why I was thinking Hawaii. Yeah. But yeah, no, Japan. Oh, that's awesome. I was curious. That's where him and his best man met, right?
Yes, they met a week before they shipped out, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's really where their friendship started out there.
That's awesome. Yeah. So how long were you guys together before the proposal?
2 years.
2 years. Yeah. Awesome. So how did he propose? Or did he, or did you, or?
So he did. My friend takes photos on the side. She's wonderful with that. And I told him that I really wanted a fall photo shoot. So we had some pictures to hang up around the house. And he got with her and she did the thing where she told us to have our backs to each other. And when I turned around, he was down on one knee.
Oh.
Which, very funny story. I was not expecting it until I heard him fumbling with his zipper in his vest pocket when he couldn't get the box out of it. So I was just standing there and my friend kept telling me, wait, it's not time yet. So I was fully expecting it when I did turn around. So, okay. But it was still a very, very cute moment to remember.
Awesome. Where was that at?
Dow Gardens.
Oh, Dow Gardens. Oh,
yep.
That's beautiful.
It was. And I love that he planned it out to have somebody take photos. I don't think I would have felt uncomfortable in a big group of people for him to propose. So I loved that it was just him and I and one of my very good friends there to take the photo.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I love that. So now the proposal then, it's how far between the proposal and the wedding day was it? How long were you planning that?
We were engaged for 2 years. We wanted to have a 1-year engagement, but we knew we wanted to get married here. And we came the following weekend to take a look. Booked it that day, but they only had 2025 available. So We had a pretty long engagement, but it was definitely worth it to have our wedding here.
Okay. So it was relatively new when you booked it then.
Yes.
Okay. So I think, yeah, because it became a pretty popular place. So, but what made, like, as far as like deciding on this place, what really drew you to having it here at Back Orchard?
Knew we wanted a barn venue, so I was looking around the area at different ones. Something about this place kept speaking to me, and as soon as we came here and looked around, we both knew that this was where we wanted it. It's just absolutely stunning, and the staff here, they're so nice.
Yes, I love working here.
Yeah.
But I think it's really great because they have like this whole bridal suite and a groom's suite, which is kind of like, you don't see that very often in a lot of the like venues that I've been to, where it's like you have a bridal suite and a groom suite. Sometimes you see the bridal, but usually the groom is kind of like left out. It's like, okay, there's nothing for him. But this place has both, and I love that.
Yes. And they're both very nice too. That the guys were very comfortable all morning getting ready, and it was a good setup for them.
Oh, yeah. And it's like literally right across the hall from each other.
Yeah, it did include a little bit of hiding that day, but we made it through.
You did. So as far as like leading up to the wedding, so did you do most of the planning yourself, or?
I did. We did hire a day of coordinator, which was very helpful, but most of the planning was me and my Pinterest boards.
Okay. But that's like the day of coordinator, that was Kayla from Creative Grace, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and she was absolutely wonderful. I don't think I would have stayed calm during that day if it was not for her.
So do you think that's pretty important to have?
Yes, I would highly suggest that to anyone planning a wedding. And I went back and forth with the wedding planning. I've had friends that have hired a planner, some that haven't. I felt confident that I could take it on myself, but there is no way I would redo that day without her there.
Yeah. Because it's like you need somebody to kind of keep everybody on track and time, which is crucial. It's like there's a difference when you have like a planner or a coordinator or somebody there that's keeping track of everything. And a wedding that does not have that, there's a difference, and I can tell that. Usually it's like for those times, it's like the photographer or the DJ or something takes over, but mostly a photographer, because they're there most of the time if there is no day of coordinator, but they have a job to do too.
Right.
So.
And with the beautiful photos that Anna took that day,
yeah.
I haven't gotten all of them back yet, but the preview was stunning. I would have hated to take anything away from her that day. I love that she could just focus on taking photos. And especially with how anxious I am, I was very nervous that whole day, and Kayla really kept me calm and kept me occupied with being in the moment rather than stressing about what's going to happen in an hour or 2 hours. So I just love how it all turned out.
And you had Andy from like DJOC?
Yes.
And how was he?
He was wonderful. I really liked him. He was great to work with. Anytime I had questions, he was available all the time. And I think he was very entertaining that night. He kept everybody engaged out on the dance floor.
I was when I saw the dance floor, how it was. The one thing that really stuck out in the reception that I've only seen it one other time, and it like startled me then. But I grew up in the 80s, and it's like when I heard the song Footloose. And then you and 3 others got together and you're doing the steps. And I'm like, my gosh, I didn't even know there was a dance to that. And it's like, you are nailing it.
That was on our must playlist for that.
Really? Yes. See, I love that. I only saw one other time, and that surprised me then. But then it's like you went ahead and did that. And I'm like, oh, okay, I got to get this.
Yes, that was a lot of fun. I did enjoy that. That was one of the core memories of that night.
Okay. Well, going back to kind of like earlier in the day, I know one of the things that you did was the first looks. Mm-hmm. I know we did one with your dad and with your grandparents, and also with your groom, mm-hmm. Josh. So I guess it's like like going to Josh and stuff. So how, like, what made you decide on doing a first look with him that day?
From everybody that I've talked to, they said it really helps calm your nerves when you can do it sooner rather than later. I did like the idea of the first look being at, when I'm walking down the aisle. I also like that, we were able to do it, I think 3 hours before the ceremony. So that just gave me 3 extra hours to spend with Josh.
Yes.
That day went by so fast that I really wanted to spend as much time with him as I could.
Yep. Now I can't remember what time was your ceremony at. I'm just drawing a blank now.
I know, me too.
Wasn't it later in the afternoon? Was it 3:30?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like, especially with those first looks and stuff, it's like, yeah, I personally kind of look at it. It's like, if your ceremony is at like 1 o'clock, fine, don't do one. But if your ceremony is later on in the afternoon, you have to kind of think, okay, do you do one? Because once the ceremony is over with, you're not going to have very much time for pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want pictures, you got to be able to reserve time for that. And I think that's usually why I suggest like some first looks, is just to be able to kind of like get the pictures that you want to get.
Yeah.
But you're right. It does also help with nerves, because I look at it too. Even if you wait later and you don't do a first look and go through the ceremony, what happens after the ceremony? You're with family.
Mm-hmm.
You're walking down the aisle, getting pictures with your bridal party. You're doing a grand entrance. You're doing dinner. You're doing toast. You're doing all that stuff. Is there really time that you're spending alone with them?
Right.
And that's why I think I'm really glad you did, because at that moment you got to be just you two, aside from me and the photographer. But it's just like at that moment you guys can take that time to just be with each other for a moment.
Yep.
Which a lot of couples I've seen don't get that.
It felt very nice, and it did kind of slow down the afternoon for a little bit when we got that moment. And I think my biggest concern with not doing it while we walked down the aisle was that it was going to kind of take away from that moment, and it wasn't going to be as special, but it was just as special taking that first step out and locking eyes with him. It didn't take away from that at all.
No, I've seen some grooms just break down even after they did a first look.
Yeah.
It's just like, because there's something different about seeing your bride walking down the aisle in front of everybody, and it's just like, it's a euphoria that's happening. So now you also did a first look with your dad and stuff. So how is that? Is that something that you'd say you'd do again, or when?
I would definitely do that again. It was a very special moment between him and I. He's my stepdad, so
yeah,
he wasn't there throughout my whole life, but a good chunk of it, and he means the world to me. So being able to do that with him and get his reaction,
he got a little bit emotional.
He did get a little bit emotional, and he's usually not a person that gets very emotional. So I will probably be holding that video of him crying over his head for a while.
I love it. So, as far as like, kind of going back, I'm kind of thinking as far as like your whole day, you did like a last dance, like, and that night and stuff, and then you did a sparkler exit. So the last dance, it's like, what made you geared towards that? I'm curious.
I just really wanted one more moment to spend with Josh, just us two, and just really take in everything that happened that day, that we were actually married. And I'm very happy that we did that. They cleared everybody out before we did, and they got everybody ready for the sparkler exit. But it was nice just to hold each other and smile, knowing that it was our day and it was everything we dreamed of.
And they did the sparkler exit too. So it's like, I love that. Just being able to do the sparkler exit, it's like, you do it, whether it's the last thing you do, or I've had some of them that do it at like 9 o'clock and just fake it, but it's fun just to be able to run through all the sparklers and stuff. But I love that last dance, mostly because what that does is really kind of kind of interesting, especially if you're doing the sparkler exit. That gives you that time to yourself at just there. But it does a secondary thing because it also sets up all the people on a road to do the sparklers, because that takes a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And I think it's doing that last dance just before it is a good way of setting up for that. Well, switching to video, which is my specialty, but it's like, what made you decide to get a videographer?
So you were actually the first vendor that I booked.
Yes.
I
do remember that.
Right off the bat, I knew I wanted one. I love the idea of when we have kids down the road that we can show them a video of the day. You know, pictures do a lot, but it's nice when we have everything put into a video and can look back and laugh and smile and remember all the little things that photos can't capture.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought you saw the video and stuff. Was there something that stood out as probably one of your favorite moments in the video that you're glad that you caught that?
I mean, I love the whole video, but the speeches from our maid of honor, best man, we had two or three extra people give some speeches. I love that we have those on video. That means the world to me that we have all of that to look back on.
It's the audio. It's like that's the vocals. It's the stuff that, that's the one thing that I regret. It's like I got married a long time ago. It's like, I got married in '98, and the idea of a videographer was this guy with the thing on his shoulder, and it's a little bit more expensive. But it's like the one thing we don't have is like, I wish I knew what my best man said at my wedding.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I knew what our maid of honor said at our wedding. Wish I could capture all that stuff that I'll never know now. But it's like, that's what I like, is that whole audio aspect. Because it is not just moving pictures. It's capturing the audio of the day, the essence, sounds, stuff like that happens too. Now, did you know, I'm not going to ruin it for you, but the champagne pop that you had that I had in the video? That's a soundbite. Because I think there was other people talking, and it was very, I think it was actually pretty quiet. So I put in there to amplify that. So.
It was perfect. It matched perfectly with it.
So
I remember as soon as that clip popped up, I was like, oh gosh, it scared me when it popped.
I've had some that is just like, I think I had one where actually the cork went into the bottle.
Oh.
And it's like they broke the top off of it, and the cork part was still in there. And it's like they took screws. They ended up just pushing it back in. But it was just like, yeah. But that little that's a nice little thing to have. I love it. But you didn't go and shake it though. So
no, that was the first bottle of champagne I've ever opened on my own.
Was it really?
Yes, I was a little scared for that, but I felt like I had to do it to say I did it.
That was funny. That was great. I love that. All right. So anything else that kind of stands out from your wedding day?
Whole day was perfect. I will say I stressed a lot about the little things.
Yeah.
The little things did not matter at the end of the day. And everybody's different. There's certain stuff that somebody's going to want or not want, but looking back, I wish I wouldn't have stressed myself out so much. By the time the wedding was here, it was over in the blink of an eye, and it was absolutely perfect. Things went wrong that I feel like that was probably my nightmares leading up to the wedding, where some of these things were going to happen, and they happened, and it was fine. And looking back, the next day we were laughing about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it all works out like it should. And
yep, it's the whole point is like you two getting married. And you're together. That's all that matters, really.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, that's a good place to end. So, thank you for joining me here, and hopefully you got enough information about possibly planning your own wedding. So, until the next time, see you then.